Assalamu alaikum guys, my name is Shahryar and I will explain the pillars of OOP in Java. Before we shifting and move to the pillars of OOP, and we need to know about what is class and object. Java is basically a class-based language. Without creating a class, you cannot create an object. If you see the picture, you will get easily understand how important is an object. Anything that has a state and behavior is called object. That is the class of phone and contains of different types of phone and also different types of behavior in it. That is the object and that is the class is the phone. Phone is the class. So if you see this code, you will get easily understand what is class and object. That is the strong relation between class and object. We create a class student and contains an instance variable. The variable which is declared inside the class or outside the method is called instance variable. We declare another method which name is insert record and has two arguments which contain the different types of data in it. Integer, number, and string is string as any alphabetic order. So we declare another display information and displays the roll number and name. We create another class which contains a main method in it. So that is the most important thing which we know about object. Object, if you see the syntax of an object, you will get easily how important is to be create a class in our program. So if you see that is the class name, and before mentioning the object name, you need to declare the class name first. That is the most important and first rule. After equal to new, assign a new keyword, and that is the constructor. If you want to print the constructor of same class, so you need to create constructor, because constructor and class name will be same. There's no difference between if you declare the class name alphabet and constructor name lowercase. So there's big difference. No matter their spelling is same, but you need to, if you want to if you want to print the constructor, you need to assign the same name as constructor. So we that is the reference object, because any object have printing through argument with the help of argument. That is the reference object. So we call the int one and string value in it and display the information, because if you use SOUT, which contains a roll number and name, that is the variable which displays the information through object. So I hope you guys understand what is class and object. That is the most important concept. So now move to the pillars of open Java. Inheritance basically, that is the main concept of sub and superclass, and it is a relationship represent is a parent to child relationship, subclass and superclass relationship. There are many types in it: single inheritance, multi-level, and hierarchical. If you see the code, you will get easy to understand single inheritance, multi-hierarchical. So we create a vehicle class which contains a property method in it. We create an simple printing a line which value contains a, because it has b. We create another class that is, if you see any extend keywords in any class, you will get easily that is this inheritance. Inheritance, one of the most important rule is that to extend the keywords, because that extend keywords help you to functionality contains and display the another class with the help of another class. So that is the, we create by class another class, and that is the subclass, and that is the superclass. Before extend keyword, always call the subclass, and after the inheritance, that after the extend keyword, that is the superclass. So vehicle is the superclass of Python, and Pike is the subclass of vehicle. So which contains also method in a different name, and that is the we create another class which contains a man method in it, and we declare the object. You understand? I in previous slide I explained the how we call the object. So we call the run method. Bike is running. If we because if we call the first run method, it displays the information about bike is running, and then property method will be called because it has that is multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance basically used for multi things. I mean multi-class. When a class is basically having more than one parent class. It's got different levels such as type of inheritance it is. So we create vehicle one which contain a run method and simple printing a line. We can in another class that is the subclass and that is the superclass. Vehicle one is the superclass of bike one and bike one is the subclass of vehicle one. That is the multi-level inheritance example is been started. So we create another cycle class and contains an extend. We create another cycle class that is the subclass of Python, and Python is the superclass of cycle. That is the two parent of two child. Our hierarchical inheritance has been work. Hierarchical inheritance is basically inheritance is being used when you create another class more than one parent. More than one child classes have the same parent. That is the example of logical inheritance. Weapon that is the vehicle class and void one contains a void method in its simple printing line. We create another class which name is cars and extend the properties of vehicle. That is the subclass of vehicle and that is also the subclass of vehicle 3. Yani vehicle 1 is the superclass of two different chats. Encapsulation is basically that type of methodology in real life. If you see the capsule, the truths will be hidden. If you want to, encapsulation is basically that type of methodology of binding code and data in the single unit. That is the beauty of the encapsulation. If you want to declare the variable as private, use public and set a get method to modify the variable values. If you see the code, you will get easily understand. So why we use this keyword is private because we don't want to access this keyword from the other class. That's why we use. If you want to set this value encapsulation, you need to assign two methods. First method is getName and another method is setName. We create another class which contains a demo encapsulation and which contains a main method in it, and we declare object. And if you see the code, so you will get easily understand share the object name and two method will be called. First method is set the value of the variable and another method is printing the value of variable. That's why we use encapsulation because we're binding the data in the single unit. So abstraction is basically used for if you see the image, you will have two options in it. First, you have reject the call and accept the call, but you don't know about the if you discuss about the functionality. So you don't know about how the code works if you want to get the value. how the code works in it. So if you inherit an abstract class, you have to provide implementation in it. If a class has at least one abstract method, then the class must be declared abstract. Abstract class, we create an abstract class. If any class contains an abstract method, you need to assign the class keyword, which is name is abstract. That is the first rule. If you see the object, so object name and constructor was different because if you want to implementation on the abstract method, you need to create another class. So that is the implementation details. Implement abstract method. So that's why we call the that constructor. We call the Nokia constructor instead of mobile constructor. Polymorphism. Polymorphism is basically one task is performed in a different way. There are many type method and method overriding. If you see the code, you will get easily understand of that definition. I'm not tagging this definition because it's time consuming. Because of time consuming, so you will get easily understand through code. So we declare two method, same number of argument, but their data type were different. If number of argument were different, method name was same, and data type was different. That is the example of method overloading. If another example of method overloading is that method name is same, number of argument were different, but their data type was same. That is also the example of method overloading. आवाज बैठ गई. Method overriding. Method overriding always contains the same method. The resemblance of method overloading and method overriding is that function name may be same, but their argument is also same and the method overriding. That is the example of method overriding. Thank you. If you have any question regarding to my presentation, go ahead, unmute your mic and go ahead ask me.